All right, we got David Case from Kronoverse here. David,
how's it going?
Welcome. I got to confess, I only caught the second half of your presentation in there. It was on my list, but then I walked in and you were there, and I'm like, ah. So can you just rehash a little bit about the first half for me? I heard all about CryptoFights, which I've learned about before and I really like. But
yeah. So, I mean, we started with just a little update on CryptoFights. There wasn't a whole lot covered, just kind of overview for people who aren't familiar with it. I'll just point anyone to cryptofights.io if they want to see kind of that. But we're going to be having a tech preview available by the end of the year where people can start to log in and play with it. So, but then the broader presentation was kind of about the whole platform that CryptoFights is built on. So the supporting services and how it allows really other game developers to build on it using essentially just standard JavaScript. You don't have to understand about Bitcoin, but at the same time, all transactions happen on Bitcoin. And so it allows you to, we've had some cool tools to like be able to plug into iOS and Android development where you can like subscribe to actual updates that happen on chain, and they'll just, your game clients will get triggered, they can interact with the logic on chain, and it really provides a super easy roadmap for developers to build stuff that they don't have to understand Bitcoin, but yet everything is recorded on chain.
so CryptoFights is just one small part of it, one product, and Kronoverse is actually the platform.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a platform that's open up for other developers to be able to build the same type of tools that we're building in CryptoFights.
Are you talking to anyone else about using it?
Well, we just actually announced a developer waiting list. So we'd really like developers who are interested to get in there, and we can start figuring out who the right people are is to kind of start opening that up. And we're going to have documentation coming out in the next couple months that really starts directing people of how to build on it. Yeah.
Very nice. How long has it been around?
There's been a lot of evolution. So I started with, CryptoFights itself started about 2 years ago. I joined up with the guys like January of 2018, so almost 2 years. But it was a simple, the game doesn't have any relationship to what it is now. That was basically like, we had an Ethereum smart contract, you kind of put in your initial state, it introduces a little bit of randomness, and someone wins. It was more of like a simple dice game or something.
Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
So why did you switch from Ethereum to BSV?
It's...
I got to ask that.
Yeah, there's no comparison. I mean, Ethereum, it works, and it's, like from a development standpoint, it's really straightforward for normal software developers. You develop it the same way you would write Windows code or web code or whatever, but you can't do much. And it's really limited. And Bitcoin it took me a lot of kind of figuring out until there was a eureka moment, because it's not like normal software development. It's a whole new concept, and the economic system, it's a lot bigger than just, okay, I'm writing software. It's really about understanding UTXOs and being able to unlock UTXOs and spend them and apply logic in different ways, and having, like the fact, what we're doing a lot of is, like the code of how you interpret a series of events is stored on chain. So like you point at a certain piece of code and then you watch the chain for other events that fit, fit the data that code is looking for, and then it interprets it. So it's a whole different way of looking at it, where Ethereum is really about, let me give this logic to miners, they're going to enforce it, and they're just doing simple calculations, where this is really about like looking at transactions that span days or weeks or months and interpreting what happened across those. It's a different.
You kind of make it sound like Ethereum's easier.
Oh, it's easier for development. It doesn't work. It costs a ton of money. It's slow.
Kind of a deal breaker.
Yeah. Well, and with this, we're not actually tied to mining at all. It's what it really becomes is you've got these packets that you can communicate back and forth, and they're signed by the people who are spending them. They're in the chain of events is enforced by miners, but the data is actually stored in those packets, and you're interpreting those data. And you can kind of, the fact that UTXOs get spent from one transaction to another, you can follow that chain over time, and there's data tied to each one of those transactions. And so you can start interpreting, this person transferred this to this person with this data included. And so you can start building up real complex states.
Yeah.
And none of that ever actually has to get mined even before. You can just use it back and forth, and you still have the signatures. And so if anyone ever double spends our system, they cheated. And we're just not, their funds are forfeit. Sorry. So it's there's a lot of power that you can do.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, and it as a developer, it takes a completely different mindset. And
Are you aware of anyone else that's building anything similar, like a competitor?
not like we are. I mean, we are using the Run framework, which is a JavaScript framework for doing some of this logic stuff. And there's other people who are certainly working on different kind of these smart or interactive objects that can grow over time, and it's written in JavaScript. It's really cool, but no one is taking it to the extent that we are. In fact, the developers of that tell me all the time that we're pushing them.
We're doing things in JavaScript that you only.
Well, I mean, it isn't just in JavaScript. It's just with their framework. They're like, oh wow, we haven't got around to that part yet. Good job. So yeah, it's
Very nice.
It feels pretty cutting edge and innovative. So.
It does. Excellent. Yeah. Well, you got a pretty good response in there, I have to say.
Oh, I was pretty self-focused and not feeling the greatest about it, so that's great to hear.
Good. Good. Well, tell me more about CryptoFights itself.
Yeah. So CryptoFights.
Like, what is it, for starters?
It's a turn-based RPG battle game based on a Dungeons and Dragons type system.
Nice.
So it starts with you create a character, just like any other video game in the world. You can change some of what it looks like. You can change what race it is. You have so many points, stat points, to allocate to your strength and your intelligence and your agility. And so, I mean, it's very Dungeons and Dragons in that way, plus just a normal game setup. But that fighter then is a token that you own.
Yeah.
And so you actually contribute that fighter to battle. And you also can own different weapons and armor that you equip your fighter with, and those will affect that fighter's strength and agility. And then as you play, you level up, your fighter starts leveling up, and so you get to make choices of what additional skills you want to add to your fighter. And then so when you're entering a battle, you're picking which of your weapons, which of your armor, and which of the skills you've earned you're going to put into battle. And
then you can watch it battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, you're actually, so the actual gameplay is like a cross between something like a Street Fighter, where it's a 3D fighting game, but also, that shows my age when I said Street Fighter instead of Tekken, or I don't know what people play these days.
I bet I'm older.
Possibly. But then it's almost kind of like a Final Fantasy as well, where it's like you've entered the battle with these 4 skills, and every turn you're picking which of your skills it is, and then it's the other person's turn. And so it's turn-based, but it's interactive, and and there's a lot of skill to it, and how you're balancing your weapons, your armor, your skills versus your opponent's weapons, armor, and skills.
That is cool. Like, I think it was about 8 or 10 years ago. Like, a bunch of my friends and we all got addicted to this really stupid online game called My Brute.
My Brew?
My Brute.
Oh, Brute. Okay.
And there was no skill whatsoever. It was just luck.
Yeah.
Like, I think you could choose the appearance, and that's about all. And we got horribly addicted to it. Like, we were just playing it all the time, and we knew it was BS.
Yeah.
Like, we knew it was stupid, but it's just so much fun.
And the part I didn't actually mention about CryptoFights is it's also built very much around cash tournaments as well.
Right.
So you're contributing funds and you're winning funds, or losing funds. Well, losing the funds you.
Yeah, that would have made it so much more interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Like, eventually we just all got bored. We got burned out. We said, this game is stupid. And we all decided at once.
Yeah.
Had there been that extra element, like actual money, like a little bit of skill, I think
that's just it, because it's skill-based, but it grows and changes. So it's unlike online poker or something. It's like you sit down here's the game you're playing, and it doesn't really change. Well, here, your property actually grows and changes and upgrades over time, and you unlock new battlefields that have higher stakes or different rules, and you're choosing where you want to play. So it's much more of a long-form, interactive process than just like I'm sitting down for one game. But you can sit down for one game as well. So.
Really?
Well, I mean, you're probably not going to build a new fighter and sit down for one game. But I guess what I mean, it's not like you have to give a lot of time to it. You're sitting down for one fight at a time, but your player evolves.
I just get the feeling I'm not going to sit down just for one game. I really want to play this. When does it actually launch?
So end of the year, we're hoping to have we're on track right now to have a kind of an open tech preview. We call it beta in the slide. It's somewhere between a beta and a tech preview. Not all the AML KYC process is going to be totally solved. I mean, I shouldn't say solved. It's not going to be production ready at that point, but we can get people into the game. They can play the game. They can start getting the idea. They can help us test it and make sure that it's secure and not going to crash on people. And yeah,
all necessary things.
Yeah,
All right,
much
well,
so.
look out for CryptoFights and Kronoverse. How will people follow you? You got Twitter,
So
blog?
at CryptoFights on Twitter is CryptoFights stuff.
CryptoFights with a C.
Yes,
Right.
CryptoFights, Fights,
And
Fights.
Kronoverse with a K.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Kronoverse.io is our developer sign up. So if any developers are interested in getting on our waiting list, sign up there. And
I'll put that on the screen for you.
yeah, and we're getting pieces are all coming together in a really exciting way right now, and we're excited to get other people involved.
I'm pumped. All right.
Me too.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot, David.